And we're live here on Facebook. Like to welcome those listening in podcast land and say hello to my friend Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Mike. Been a busy week. It's going to keep on getting busy. As Had to get the lawn mowed tonight, and we're recording on a Thursday because we're both pretty busy this weekend with it being Labor Day.
Yeah. Looking forward to getting to see you guys this weekend. That'll be fun. We'll see you Sunday, I think, is the first time. We won't get to see you before that.
Yeah, we're gonna be starting the weekend. We're gonna go to the motorcycle races down at the Davenport Speedway on tomorrow night.
That sounds like
And
fun. I didn't know they had those.
Yeah, I guess they do. So we're gonna go with Ron.
Yeah,
Ron Levens,
that seems like something he would be.
father-in-law out there.
I would love to do
And
that. I think that would be fun. I would totally jump on a motorcycle and flat track a bike.
Yeah, and then we'll be going down, and then we got fantasy football drafts on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, gonna be a busy weekend, but one
Yeah.
that'll be nice to get to see everybody, and hopefully we're gonna make it out. We're gonna actually be halfway to you guys in Brimfield, as we're gonna be in Andover on Saturday.
Ooh,
So that'll be fun. And then yeah, so we got a really big show this week, and exciting stuff to talk about. We actually have. So I'll start with the first topic of the first highlight for the week's
Okay.
topics, and that we're gonna actually talk real football, NFL football happening between now and our next show.
that's right. Thursday night football kicks off next Thursday. Bills and the Rams. So with the season kicking off next week, we got to give you our division winner picks, and yeah, as well as talk about our Thursday night football pick. And as well, we'll always be going into the NASCAR corner. We got to preview the NASCAR playoffs, as well as give you our predictions for the first race down in Darlington.
Yep. And finally, we have some. Is it sad news? In our quick hits, is that sad? I didn't actually read the article yet. I'll read. You're gonna have to explain it to me.
Maybe we'll keep after kicking that can down the road and save that for next week, as well. But we will be talking some baseball with the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
Frustrating week, but it was a week of baseball nonetheless.
Yep.
So, Mike, all that and more. But what do we have to do first?
It's time to roll the intro. Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. Okay, we're back. Before we do anything, first thing we got to do is we have to talk about our poll question. Rich, this week's poll question was Jock Jams, YMCA versus Hang On Sloopy. Right? That was this week?
Yeah. Hang On Sloopy. So, Mike, I went with Hang On Sloopy. It was because I'm really not the biggest fan of YMCA. You hear it all the time at sports events, whether you're at minor league or when you're listening to the Cubs game, it gets played.
Yeah.
And it was a different song to hear at a sporting event when I went to the Cleveland Indians game. But I guess it's a big thing in Ohio sporting events, as after the song of "Hang On, Sloopy, Sloopy, Hang On," they spell out OHIO for Ohio in the chorus. So I like it.
So we're kind of in an impasse here because I voted for YMCA.
Okay.
And we're at 50-50.
Ooh.
So here's how we're going to do this. Rich, you see my hand? Put your hand up. We're going to do paper, scissors, rock. Ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Sorry. I think you might have saw mine first.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
It'll be YMCA. You beat me.
Okay. Then in that case, I'm going to vote on behalf of, as Balls and Sticks, the podcast, because apparently now the way that they've changed our podcast page, they can get a vote in the fan page stuff, and so as such, that moves that YMCA to 3 votes to 2. YMCA wins.
All right. So, Mike, this week we're going to continue with our stadium songs or jock jams, and we're going to go with Apache, or as you know it, more than likely, Jump On It.
Bum,
and
bum,
jump
bum,
around.
bum, 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 bum. Jump on it. That one?
Yeah. That's the one, or Jump. So much like we did with the with last week, we'll make sure to put a link for a YouTube video.
Yep.
If you want to watch it.
And
so that'll go live. I'll try and get that up within the next couple of days.
Okay. So, yeah, and jump around. Jump up, but get down. So, Rich, do you see what's coming up next?
I do, Mike. Is it a left turn?
It is. And after that?
It's another left turn, Mike, because we're going into the NASCAR corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, 5th Avenue in Moline, or you can also find him on eBay. So last week, Mike, we were in Daytona. Did you get a chance to watch the race?
I don't think I did.
I didn't either. So I could have swore I'm used to NASCAR races being on Sundays.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Sunday night. When I saw Sunday night, I was like, all right, Sunday night race, cool. And
nope.
I'm up at the ball game and realized it was a Saturday night race. And we get back to the car, we get back to the bus after the game, and heard the news that they were going to have to delay the race due to rain. And they made the decision to have it at 9 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Central Time.
Central Time, yeah.
So that's 10 o'clock Eastern. That's what? So that's 7 a.m. West Coast time.
Yeah. So so the first thing that read, and they were going to put it on CNBC, not USA, not NBC, because NBC had the agreement that they had to air the PGA tournament action on NBC, so they couldn't bump it.
Yeah.
Which made me think, Mike, you've been to a NASCAR race.
Yeah.
Whether it's a night race or day race.
I've been to both.
Fans are drinking and partying the entire day, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be a rude awakening to a hangover.
Okay.
To have to hear the cars buzzing around the track at 9 o'clock in the morning.
So one, I don't get hangovers. I've not gotten a hangover, but that's mostly because I drink. Like I will admit I've gotten a little more drunk, had a little more than I should at a NASCAR race. 100% admit that. The difference is that you make sure you eat stuff. You make sure you have some good. You have some good food, all of that stuff, and you just make sure you're good to go for that time. So you just have to do it. They probably knew early enough that the rain was getting the race was getting rained out. So they didn't, I mean, they still partied, but that's not that early. I mean,
well, yeah, I guess 10 o'clock Eastern time isn't that bad.
Well, and then you're also camping. Whether it's in a camper or in a tent, when you're camping, your walls are pretty thin, so like the birds are gonna start waking you up, and it starts to get, especially in a tent, it gets hot. As soon as the sun hits that tent, it starts to warm up, and you are up pretty darn early.
All right, that was just my initial thoughts when I heard that they were gonna have the race start at 10 a.m. Florida time.
No, it would have been fine.
Okay.
But it meant that I was in the middle of church while the race was going on. I was playing bass and had church, so I didn't get to watch.
Yeah, we were sleeping as we didn't get the bed until about 3:30 in the morning that night from getting home from Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's a rough night.
But more on that later.
Yeah.
So the race had a lot of wrecks as a lot of the field got taken out fairly early as they had to have a rain delay at the rescheduled time because while the cars were going around the track, the section of the track where the cars were at the time was clear sunshine, no rain. Other half of the track that they were heading towards, rain started opening up and they didn't throw the caution in time. So that caused a huge wreck.
I didn't get to see any of that.
I only saw the highlights.
Yeah.
Only saw the highlights. So any race results, Austin Dillon, your surprise winner, won the race with his teammate pushing him to the win, Tyler Reddick. Our drivers, Mike, even though he was 6 laps down, Ryan Blaney finished 15th. Mike, where did your driver, Martin
Truex Jr. finish 8th, giving me yet another win? Does that mean 20 this season?
Sadly, yes, it does, Mike. You did really well this year.
So
really
regular season wise, I destroyed you on that. Now
you did.
Are we resetting for the playoffs?
We will add to it. So we'll have a playoff standings, and but any points that you get during the playoffs will go towards the overall standings.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that no matter what happens at this point, I win.
Probably, but we'll wait and see.
Like I win the overall, probably.
Probably. So very rarely, probably. The way I've been picking this year, I don't think I'll be able to get 2 points every single week, since we will be picking 2 drivers, a playoff driver and a non-playoff driver.
That's right.
Race.
That's how you're going to beat me. Both your guys are going to beat my guys every week, and then I'm going to lose.
It's all happening. It could happen.
Yeah.
So, with that, Mike, that's how we do playoff standings on the show here, by picking it. So, Mike, who were the final 16 drivers that will be racing for the championship? And I'll actually get that up right now real quick.
So, Rich, if you just so you know,
okay,
if we only picked one driver for the rest of the year, there is no way you could beat me.
But picking 2 drivers a week, is there a chance?
Yes. Okay, so you're 16 drivers to make it in. You have Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, and this is the order that they are for when they go
in the playoff points.
In the playoff points. Yeah. So it's Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Mr. Don't Sleep on Us, Kevin Harvick, and Christian Bell. Comes in at 10.
And then rounding out the bottom 16, you have Kyle Busch in the 11th slot, Chase Briscoe at 12, Daniel Suarez at 13, Austin Cindric 14, Alex Bowman in 15, and bringing up the rear, Austin Dillon.
Yep.
So depending on the results, the NASCAR playoffs, it's 3 drivers at each round, correct?
Yeah, I thought Martin Truex made it in.
No, Martin Truex did not win it, did not get in because a first-time winner, being Austin Dillon, won the race, making Ryan Blaney the only driver to not win a race to qualify for the playoffs.
I thought he had more points. I did not realize that.
Yeah, the race winner for a non-winner, a first-time winner, won Daytona. So that's how Dillon makes the playoffs.
I didn't see that. Man, that sucks. Okay, well, whatever.
We haven't made any picks yet, so if you would like to change your pick, you can.
No, that's fine. I thought him. So Ryan Blaney finishing 15th is a big deal because if he finishes lower than that, he probably would have lost.
Yes, they said that it came down to 3 points. 3 points separating them between the two guys making the playoffs.
Okay, well, this week we are going to the Cookout Southern 500 at Darlington. Man, this is going to be a good race. Yeah. I am going to pick for my... I will pick... How about this? I will pick my driver first. We both picked, but if you want to pick who I picked as my non-playoff driver, as your non-playoff driver, you get to pick that. I will pick the playoff driver first. You pick the non-playoff driver. I'm picking Denny Hamlin.
All right, for my playoff driver, I'm going to go with Kyle Larson.
Good pick.
And I'm going to stick with who I told you I was going to go with pre-show, and I'm going to stick with Eric Jones as the non-playoff driver.
Okay, I'm going to pick Brad Keselowski. Again, I think the Southern 500 is one of those you got to be an old school guy, and that's why I picked two old school guys. So, Rich, what is your prediction for the winner as of right now?
Well, overall winner, I know in the regular, before the season started, I went with Kyle Busch because I thought with there being practice at every single track and qualifying, he would do a little better. But the results just weren't there overall the entire season. So I'm not going to go with, I don't have much faith in Kyle Busch winning it all. So I got to pick somebody different than you, as you had Chase Elliott, and you tend not to change your picks.
I like Chase, man. I mean,
I know. I think he's done really well. I like him too, but so to pick somebody different, he's made a lot of. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Kyle Larson. I think the tracks that they have to race on within the playoffs are a good setup for him. That with tracks he does well in, so I think he's going to go back to back.
Okay, and I don't mind that. That's hard to pull though, but I still think it's gonna be Chase Elliott. So, Rich, what is the 411 with Bubba Wallace this year? For the rest of the year?
I didn't get a chance to read too much into the story, but Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan's team is going to have Bubba Wallace drive the number 45 car the rest of the year, because that car is eligible for the Owners' Championship?
Yep.
Okay, the Owners' Championship, because Kurt Busch qualified for that. The manufacturers are the Owners' Championship, so they want a driver who they know they can count on from week to week, I guess.
Yeah,
So Bubba's going to drive the 45, and I guess a rotating group or Ty Gibbs is going to switch over to the 23.
Until Kurt comes back, which we'll see how that goes. I'm saddened by that. Kurt Busch is, I'm afraid this is the end of Kurt Busch. So, anyway, Rich, this has been the NASCAR Corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out on 5th Avenue for all your sports memorabilia needs, or on their eBay store. Let's keep making left turns as we head to the Diamond to talk baseball. Cubs went 1-4 week to week.
Yeah, that was a rough week, but they were facing some good teams with the Brewers and the Blue Jays.
They really were.
That brings their overall record to 56-75, third place in the division, which isn't saying much. 20 games back in the division, 16 and a half back of the wild card. They still have not been eliminated yet.
Yeah.
I know neither of us said that they would only win one game. I think we both said they'd win 3 games last week.
I think we did, yeah.
Week.
Yeah. Because you figure they should have been able to. But okay, this week, Rich, they have 3 against the Cardinals, 3 against the Reds, and 1 against the Giants. I think they're going to pull two of them off at that point, and I think that I would be happy if they do that anymore. Yeah,
I'm going to have to go with 2 as well. So the Milwaukee game was great. It was very easy to. I enjoyed the game. Like I said on my Facebook account, it was all smileys until the 7th inning when they had to go to that bullpen.
Yeah, that bullpen is.
And then the wheels fell off.
It's kind of giving us some crap.
Yeah, but if
I mean, we
anything,
knew it
that's
was
what
going to,
happened.
right?
Yeah, that's what happens when you trade away your best guys to contending teams.
Okay, Rich. So we are in September. I'm done cocking the Cubs.
Yeah,
There's nothing to talk about. They suck. If
yeah,
you're mad
pretty
at me,
much.
come at me, bro.
No, I'm not. It's a bad team.
So it is Labor Day. We love to take a look at Labor Day and say, what are these teams? What did we do? How did we do on our predictions? And what do we think? So what do we think? How are the teams doing? So Rich, are you able to look at either of those?
Yeah. Do you want to go through? Why don't I'll bring up the standings. You tell us
Okay.
who we picked. So let me get the MLB bat up real quick.
Okay.
All right, Mike, we'll start in the National League. The National League Central, the current division winner is the St. Louis Cardinals, and they have a 6-game lead over the Brewers. Who did we say was going to win that division?
We both picked the Brewers.
All right. So the Brewers are going to have to pick it up. Do you think they're going to be able to dig out of that hole and get the division?
No. And they're not gonna. They're still what, 8 games back in the wild card?
For the wild card, they're 2.5 games
Oh, okay.
back. That's a little bit more attainable.
Yeah.
All right, the American League East, the New York Mets lead the division by 3 games over the Atlanta Braves.
Okay,
And the
so
Phillies
you mean
10.5
National
back.
League, not American League.
Yes, the National League.
Okay. I picked the Phillies,
Okay,
which
so
are
they're
10 and
currently
a half
third.
games back,
Yes.
and you picked the Braves.
Yep, and the Braves are 3.5 games back. Um, I don't. Yeah, I don't think the Mets are going to be are going to give up that division.
Uh, the Mets, are just killing it this year, but not as bad as who you and I said are gonna win the West. We both picked the Dodgers. Rich, how bad is it out there in the West?
The Dodgers lead the division by 18 games.
Whoa!
18 games.
Even if they go, that means that the Padres have. I think there's there's roughly 32 games left in the season. It means the Padres have to win all of them, and the Dodgers can only win half of them, and they still tie. How crazy is
Pretty much. Pretty much. All right, Mike, your wild cards, if the season ended today, would be Atlanta with the number 1 slot, the Phillies with the number 2 slot, and they are back. It looks to be a half a game for the number 1 slot, but no, that doesn't look right. And the San Diego Padres have the 3rd final wild card spot. The next closest team is the Milwaukee Brewers at 2.5 back, as the 4th team back, the 5th team in the wild card, is the Diamondbacks, as they're 10.5 games back.
Well, Rich, you have some redemption here. As you picked the Mets, the Cardinals, and the Phillies as the wild cards. As of right now, all 3 of those teams would be in the playoffs and look like they're likely going to be. The Phillies, maybe not. I picked the Braves, the Padres, and the Mets.
Okay, so all of your teams in the National League, except for the Brewers, are slated to make the playoffs.
And
so we both messed up on the Brewers.
Yeah. And I think you're at the same spot.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same spot as well.
Okay, let's go over to the American League, where in the American League East, I picked the Rays and you picked the Blue Jays.
All right, the current leader of the East is the New York Yankees, as they have a 6-game lead over Tampa, and the Blue Jays are 8 games back.
Wow. In the Central, we both picked the White Sox.
It looks like we were hopping on that bandwagon, Mike, as the White Sox are currently in 3rd place in that division. They're 4 games back. The current leaders are the Cleveland Guardians, who have a 1-game lead over the Minnesota Twins.
Over in the West, we both picked the Asterix. I mean, you know what I mean.
We picked Houston.
Yeah, the Asterix.
Okay. The Houston does lead the division by 11 games. I don't think anybody's going to be able to make up the come dig out of that
Yeah.
hole and overtake them.
So who would make the wild card as of right now?
Your current wild card leaders would be Tampa, Seattle, and Toronto.
Well, Rich, you picked the Rays, the Yankees, and the Mariners. That means all of your teams in the American League would currently be in the playoffs if they started today. I picked
Except the White Sox.
except the White Sox. Yes. I picked the Jays, the Rangers, and the Twins. I jumped on that bandwagon a little too tightly too.
Yeah, well, the Twins are 3 games back of making a wild card spot. Those Texas Rangers that you picked as a surprise team are 12 games back.
Yeah, well.
But I mean, the surprise team for me to come out of nowhere, the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
The young Baltimore Orioles. They're sitting only a game and a half back out of the wild card right now.
Yeah. So, Rich,
Surprise team.
how do you feel right now about your preseason ALCS lineup?
Who did I give, Mike?
You put the Blue Jays
Okay.
winning over the White Sox.
Well, yeah, I don't think the White Sox are going to make it to the ALCS. Right now,
I put the Rays over the Stros.
Yeah, right now I think it's going to be hard to beat the Yankees, but there's starting to be some kinks in that bullpen. It's not as strong as it once was. So, yeah. I really think anybody could really come out of the American League at this point.
Yeah.
Where I don't think anybody wants to see him back in the World Series, but right now I think you got to go with the Asterixes.
Yeah.
Coming out of the American League right now.
Totally agree. Okay, Rich. Any other baseball talk you want to do before we head into the main topic of the week, where we discuss NFL?
No. What did we do for the National League Championship Series?
I didn't think you would want to talk about that either.
How bad is that one?
Well, at least you have a team losing that's not even going to be in the. I mean, your team that's it's you have the Dodgers versus the Brewers.
Yeah, okay.
I had the Dodgers over the Braves.
All right. Yeah. Once again, probably hopping on a local bandwagon.
Yep. So, okay, let's head into the NFL. Are you ready for it, Rich? Rich, the biggest thing of the week. A week from today, football will be on TV.
Yeah. And on a network and it's all on a network that you have access to.
Yep.
As well as it'll be airing on is that NBC? Yeah, NBC will have the game.
Yep.
So you'll get to hear Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth call the game.
Yeah. And then on top of it, it's just, I mean, man, it's going to be great. Let's look forward to this game. And it's going to be a great game. I mean, it's the Bills versus the Rams. We get to see how the elbow of Matt Stafford is doing this year. If you tuned in last week, I told you not to draft him, which feels like I'm betraying my own brother.
I wouldn't say draft. I wouldn't say not. I'm not on the opinion of don't draft him, but I would say have a good backup plan.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing in a super flex, have a good backup plan.
Yeah, I don't know that I would. He would be at best a backup for me this year right now. And I haven't drafted him in a single league. It's like the first time so far. If I don't draft him in a single league this year, this will be the first year in like 6 years I haven't drafted him.
Wow, it's crazy.
maybe more. That guy,
So did he
he puts up
in your
good
drafts?
numbers.
He does. So in the drafts that you've been in, has he gone undrafted?
No, he's been drafted. I
Okay.
I haven't drafted him. I intentionally am not going after him. So, um,
Okay.
okay,
So Mike, do you want to give a Thursday night football pick, or do you want to do division picks?
let's 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 do our Thursday night pick, as that's how we're going to start most weeks when it comes to NFL talk. We're going to talk. We're gonna give you how we did and what our picks are for the week. This week we don't pick our. This week all we have is our Thursday night pick, the Bills versus the Rams. Rich, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I really,
Yeah,
if I knew that the elbow was good to go, no worries. I'd be tempted to pick the Rams, but with the diagnosis of it's okay, but we're going to monitor it for week to week, that gives me a little bit of caution. And the Bills can put up points just as.
yeah.
Oops. Okay, I'm still good.
You're so good.
Okay, sorry, I got a notification that the headphones are down to 10%.
Okay,
That's all.
we'll go quick then.
So anywho, yeah, I got to go with the Bills because their offense is just as good, can keep up with the Rams.
Yeah, totally agree. And yeah, I think it's going to be the Bills until that elbow proves that it's 100%. Man. So now let's go into our division picks. And are we doing wild cards this week or are we not?
Yes, we will give our wild card picks.
Okay.
Next week, you'll find out how we're going to put those people. Then you'll find out we'll give a conference championship game and a Super Bowl winner next week.
Yep. Okay.
So Mike, do you want to start in the AFC or the NFC?
We can start in the AFC.
Right.
I just think the AFC is probably the easier side because there are a lot of great teams in there, and I think all of them have a very good chance. So let's go that way. So,
all right, Mike.
Out of the East, I think it's a lock, right?
I would agree. This is the Bills' division to lose.
Yeah. 100% the Bills on that one. Let's go to the AFC South, which is hard to pick because there are two teams there that I think have a decent chance. Who you picking on that one, Rich?
I'm going to give it to the Colts.
Okay.
I think the Titans have kind of taken a step back, and losing A.J. Brown when they traded him to get a younger and cheaper version in Treylon Burks in the draft.
Yep.
And they're an injury away from Derrick Henry missing time and having to depend on a Ryan Tannehill-led offense to keep them afloat until Derrick Henry can come back 100%.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But I also picked the Colts, but the Titans have all of the people in place to make that division closer than you think it's going to be. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans make a good fight. Let's go to the North. I put the Ravens here. I think Lamar Jackson coming off that injury year last year, kind of his recovery year as it were, coming back in, put on 30 pounds of muscle in the offseason. That boy, that man, he's not a boy. That man is ready to go. Yeah, I 100% think the Ravens and that team is just, they're chomping at the bit, and we're going to see them do something this year.
I'm going to go with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I'm hoping it's not a bandwagon pick, but I also don't think that it was a fluke that they went all the way to the Super Bowl. I don't think it was luck or they were hot at the right time.
But
so
you also bring up
repeat.
You also bring up the other problem though. I agree. I think it wasn't a fluke. But what's the problem when you lose in a Super Bowl?
You tend to you have the Super Bowl hangover.
And so I couldn't put them in that position because A, the Super Bowl hangover, and B, the Ravens just look so darn good. And then the West, until somebody can figure out how to actually defeat Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs own that division.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. But you could make a case that any of those four teams could win the division.
Oh yeah,
because it is tough.
It is. Which leads us to our wild card picks. The Chargers, I think, are going to be the second team out of the West.
Yeah, I really like what the Bolts did. They built up that defense, bringing in Khalil Mack. They'll have a healthy Darwin James.
Yep.
And the offense can put up points. They just need to find ways to keep the other team from scoring on them.
Yep. So who do you think is going to win? Who's going to be your second wild card pick?
This is where I put the Ravens, Mike.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I put the Bengals here because I think the hangover is going to be real, but every hangover has a noon, as I say.
Gotcha.
And so about halfway through the season, they're going to light it up again. They're going to have the first couple of weeks where it's going to be rough. They'll win a couple, they'll lose a couple, but about that just before the halfway mark in the season, you're going to see the Bengals light it up. They're going to come back alive, and they're going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be able to overcome the lead that the Ravens will have in the division. Then we head into our final wild card spot. Rich, who are you giving this one to?
I'm going to give it to the Dolphins. I like the moves that they made this offseason, and I wanted to be differently. I wanted to go on a limb on some team, and that team's the Dolphins.
Okay, that is. I think that's a limb, but I also think that is it's kind of the bandwagon.
For me,
it's kind of the bandwagon pick though of the year.
It could be, because a lot of people are riding high on them. But
yeah,
I mean, I originally had the Broncos in the playoffs as a wild card team, but they're going to have to come out of their division, and it's kind of tough to get three teams in a division in the playoffs all at once. Yeah, and I mean the Raiders could easily make the playoffs as well.
Yeah, I agree. My third team is going to be the Titans. They have if they stay healthy. If they stay healthy, that is a tough team to beat. Granted, people are starting to figure out that you got to cheat on the run and you got to play to the run when you play them. But if you're playing to the run, Ryan Tannehill keeps you honest at least, right?
Yeah.
So I like it.
They're a well-coached team too. Don't sleep on Mike Vrabel.
No.
Mike Vrabel. All right, Mike, shifting over to the NFC. We'll start in the East, Mike, where I'm going to go with the Eagles.
I don't know why so many people are hot on the Eagles this year. You explained why you think they're the hot team in that. I think it's the Cowboys, and I still don't think they're that good of a team.
Okay, the Cowboys did lose their left tackle, which is going to be tough to replace.
Yeah, but as much as you argue that they're not the NFC least, I still have a hard time buying into anybody in that division. So I think the boys have to lose it before I believe it.
All right.
Let's go to the South. There's this 44-year-old guy for another 2 weeks that turns 45. And if you vote against him, it's proven for the last 20 years that you're going to be wrong. That man's name is Tom Brady.
Yep. I went the Bucs here as well. It's Super Bowl or bust for this team.
Yep.
And it's going to be Super Bowl or bust as long as Tom Brady is on that roster.
100%.
So it's their division to lose.
Out west, I don't see anybody winning it but the Rams. The other three teams, there's one team that could win it. I guess it's a two-man race right now. But the Rams, you got to prove that you can overcome the Rams, even with that elbow being a risk. You're going to have to prove it to me. So the Rams win that for me.
Yeah, if Stafford can stay healthy, I can believe in the Rams.
Um,
Up in the north, Mike.
do I have to say
Who are
it?
you gonna take?
I don't want to say it. Packers. Sorry, something caught in my throat.
Okay.
Packers. Man, I can't do it, Rich. Packers.
I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers as well. I'm really tempted to pick the Vikings because Aaron Rodgers is gonna have to adjust to having a wide receiving core without Devontae Adams.
Rich, I'm gonna say something super dangerous for where I live
Uh-huh.
and the family I'm married into. This could be my downfall. My bold prediction of the year.
Okay, go ahead.
The last game of the year, the Bears and the Vikings play, correct?
They do.
My bold prediction is that the Bears are going to only have 2 wins at the time. With 2 wins, the Bears are going to be looking like they're going to lose, or they're going to be the number 1 spot in the draft. And then they play the Vikings, who are hoping to win the division. The Bears beat the Vikings, taking them out of the first draft spot, dropping them all the way down to the 4th draft spot, and the Vikings out of the playoffs. With that being said, I do pick the Packers to win the North. So, Rich, in the AFC or in the NFC, who's your number 1 overall wild card?
Number 1 overall wild card, the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, I like that. The number 2 wild card for me is the Saints.
All right. My next wild card team, this is where I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Okay, and my final wild card, because I made the prediction early in the year, and I'm gonna stick by it. I am picking the Carolina Panthers. Gonna win that division, or gonna win that wild card.
Gonna get their wild card.
Okay.
All right. So my last wild card is I'm gonna go with the Saints.
Okay. And you know what? That's probably a more accurate. I think. Nah, I don't see the Eagles making it in. Sorry, I don't. So.
All right. So for me, the teams that were kind of on the fence that I had to kind of didn't make the cut for a wild card spot were for me was the Vikings.
Yep.
And I thought long and hard about the San Francisco 49ers.
I had the Niners in as well.
I almost put the Niners in instead of the Cardinals. But you just don't know what you're going to get with Trey Lance. There's a lot of potential there. But with them bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that's going to create more problems.
You on that one right there, you just hit the nail right on the head. Here's what's gonna here's the problem. When you have 2 quarterbacks, how many quarterbacks do you have, Rich?
You have none.
Exactly. Where are they sitting right now?
They got 2 quarterbacks.
No, they have none. Because that room is going to be. They have shot themselves in the foot. I think mid-season they're going to pull Trey Lance a little early. They're going to put Jimmy G in. It's going to cause all sorts of havoc. It's going to be terrible. Look for the 49ers to have a terrible year because of what they did with that quarterback position. I think that's going to be a big problem for them. They are stacked up to have a rough year.
Yep. And the fans could be the ones causing the problem. If Trey Lance struggles, they're going to be calling for Jimmy G.
Yeah.
And then if they put in Jimmy G too early,
yeah.
How long of a leash is Jimmy Garoppolo going to have before they turn right back to Trey Lance?
Yeah, it's going to be a rough year. Boo. We'll see how it goes. Folks, thank you so much for joining us this week. Rich, was there any other NFL talk you want to hit before we start signing off? And we do have one last thing to talk about.
No, I think I'm good. So next week Tune back in where we'll finish up our preseason preview of the NFL when we give you our conference championship games, preseason power rankings, and then start our regular season talk where we give you an upset of the week, a lock of the week, and then Thursday Night Football week 2.
So apparently, and we're getting ready to do. We're going into in our quick hits where we're at. The Savannah Bananas are no longer going to be part of the Coastal Plains League.
That is correct. They are going all in on what they call banana ball, their brand of baseball. And they're going to commit to only playing that brand of baseball both for all of their home games in Savannah, but they are going to be traveling more and taking the show on the road.
I'm okay with it. I actually like that they do these. It brings excitement to the game. I love that they get buy-in from umpires. I love that their opponents buy in for. I don't even know who their opponents are half the time, but
most of their games they play against a similar team that was recruited and people that tried out to be on to play this style of baseball, and it's a team by the name of the Party Animals.
Okay.
But in one of the team, but they could be playing other teams when they're touring, kind of like other unaffiliated teams that aren't affiliated minor league baseball teams.
I really do love that. I love that they're buying into it. I love, if nothing more, I love what it's done for baseball itself. Because people love this. Like, people are in love with this, and it's exciting, and I hope that they come somewhere. I kind of want to go to Savannah to watch a game.
Oh, yeah, so do I. Or I would try and go to a game if they were going to play a game, stage a game within driving distance of the Quad Cities.
Could we get a Savannah Bananas game at the Field of Dreams, or is that too irreverent?
I don't know. I think you could.
I think that would be awesome.
I really think you could.
Either way, I'm happy that they're spreading it more and more. I think that it is great for the game of baseball. I love it, and I can't get behind it any more than I am. So, okay, Rich, any shout-outs before we start the week?
I do not have any shout-outs, Mike. Do you?
I don't yet, but I know that one's coming on Tuesday at the latest. But that's not for me to say.
All right. So maybe next week.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know when. But, yeah.
All right, Mike. So, the folks are watching us here on Facebook Live. You're always welcome to leave a comment, and we'll give you a comment shout-out. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, did we have any comment shout-outs this week?
No comment shout-outs this week.
All right. So if you watch us live, make sure to drop a comment or a reaction. We'll make sure to share it on the show, either when we see the comment, if it's relevant to what we're talking about at the time, or at the end of the show. Like we tried to give a comment shout-out right now. So what other way can they watch us? Can they watch
Folks,
or listen to us?
If you want to listen to us on your 5-hour road trip from the Quad Cities up to visit me, you can check us out on anywhere where you get your podcasts. We are on all of the major sites to do that. But Rich, they are listening to us, but they want to see our faces, but they refuse to give Mark Zuckerberg their information. What should they do?
Check us out over on YouTube.
All that and more. All that, and we'd like to thank you. Rich, what should we do now?
Mike, let's go ahead and roll.
Run Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.